Welcome to my channel. Have you ever been in an English class and your teacher asks, "What's your daily routine?" And you sit there thinking, "I know what I do every day, but how do I say it in English?" It's strange, right? We do so many things every single day. Wake up, brush our teeth, eat breakfast, go to work, talk to people. But when we try to talk about these things in English, we don't always have the words. Our mind goes blank. Suddenly, something that feels so easy in our own language becomes difficult. That's not because your English is bad. That's not because you aren't smart. It's simply because we don't practice these small, everyday sentences enough. In English books and classes, we often learn big grammar rules or complicated vocabulary. But real life is about the simple things. It's about saying, "I wake up at 7, or "I go to work by bus," or "I have lunch at 1 o'clock." These are the sentences that help us communicate, make friends, and feel more confident when speaking. So in this video, I want to do something different. I want to help you speak about your daily routine in easy, natural English, the kind of English real people use every day. No big words, no long grammar explanations, just clear, simple steps you can use today. We'll go from the start of your day, from the moment you open your eyes, to your evenings, your weekends, and everything in between, and you'll see that your life, your routine, is already full of English. You just need the words to talk about it. And here's something important. This video is for beginners. Absolute beginners. Even if you know just a little English, you can follow along. I'll speak slowly. I'll explain clearly. And I'll give examples you can use in your own life. So, if you've ever felt unsure about how to describe your day, this video is for you. Stay with me till the end, because by the time we finish, you'll have a full routine you can talk about in English. You'll be able to say what you do in the morning, the afternoon, the evening, and even on the weekend. So, are you ready? Let's get started. Chapter 1. What is a daily routine and why it's important to talk about it? Let's start with a simple question. What is a daily routine? A daily routine is everything you do every day. The small, normal things that happen again and again. You wake up, brush your teeth, eat breakfast, go to school or work, come home, relax, and go to bed. These actions are part of your life. They are not special. They are not difficult. But they are your routine. You probably don't think about them much. You just do them. Every day. That's why we call it a routine. It means something that happens regularly in the same way, almost like a pattern. Now, why do English learners need to talk about their daily routine? Some students ask me, "Isn't that too simple? Why should I learn to talk about my routine?" But that is the wrong way to think. Talking about your daily routine is not just small talk. It is the foundation of real conversation. When you meet someone for the first time, they may ask, "What do you do?" or "What's a typical day like for you?" When you travel, or when you go to a job interview, or even when you write an email or message, you will need to talk about your daily life. It is one of the most natural topics to discuss, and also one of the most useful. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're in an English class and the teacher says, "Tell me about your morning." That seems like a simple task, but for many students, it's difficult. They don't know how to start. They don't know what tense to use. They get nervous. But when you learn how to describe your routine step by step, that fear goes away. You learn the right words, you learn the right order, and you feel confident. You can say, I wake up at 7, then I brush my teeth. After that, I have coffee and read the news. These are simple sentences, but they are real, and they show that you can communicate in English. So, talking about your daily routine helps with more than just conversation. It helps with grammar. Most of the time, we use the present simple tense to talk about daily routines. That means we say, I eat, she works, he sleeps, and so on. This is one of the most common tenses in English, and daily routine is the perfect way to practice it. When you repeat these sentences, you learn how the grammar works, not from a textbook, but from real life. It also helps with vocabulary. Think about how many actions are in your routine. You wake up, get dressed, eat, walk, take the bus, work, study, cook, clean, relax, sleep. These are all useful words, and because you use them every day, they stay in your mind. You don't forget them. You don't need to memorize a list. You just talk about your life, and the vocabulary becomes part of your memory. And here's something many students don't know. Describing your routine also helps with fluency. Fluency means speaking without stopping, without thinking too much. When you talk about something familiar, like your routine, it's easier to be fluent. You don't need to imagine a story or remember facts. You are just talking about your day. And the more you do it, the faster and smoother your speaking becomes. That's real fluency. Not perfect grammar, not big vocabulary, but the ability to speak clearly, naturally, and confidently. Now, let's talk about confidence. Many students feel shy when speaking English. They are afraid of making mistakes. They think, what if I say something wrong? But when you talk about your daily routine, you are talking about something you know very well. It's your life. No one knows it better than you. That means you don't need to guess. You don't need to copy someone else. You just say what you do, and that builds confidence. You feel in control. You feel ready to speak. You can also use your routine in other parts of English learning. For example, in writing a short paragraph about your day is excellent practice. In listening, when you hear someone talk about their day, you'll understand more because you know the structure and words. In reading, you'll recognize daily routine vocabulary in stories, blogs, and articles. So, one small topic, your routine, can help improve many skills. Now, here's something to remember. No two routines are the same. Your day might look very different from someone else's. Maybe you're a student who studies in the evening. Maybe you work at night. Maybe you take care of children. Maybe you work from home. That's okay. That's good. Because it means your routine is personal. And when you describe your personal routine, you are creating your own English. Not just copying others, but building your voice in the language. So here's what I want you to do. After this video, take a notebook or your phone and write down 5 things you do every day. Just 5. Start with, I wake up at, and continue from there. Try to use simple sentences. Don't worry about being perfect. Just be clear. Then, try to say them out loud. That's your first step. That's how fluency begins, not with grammar books, but with your real life. Chapter 2: How to talk about your morning with real phrases you can use today. Let's begin where the day begins, in the morning. Morning is a big part of everyone's daily routine, and it's often the first topic people ask about in English. In conversations, interviews, or even in class, you'll often hear, "What do you do in the morning?" And if you can answer this question clearly, you are already showing that you can communicate in English. So in this chapter, I'll help you learn how to talk about your morning routine using simple, real phrases that you can start using right now. Now, when we talk about our morning routine, we usually speak in the present simple tense. That means we use verbs like wake up, eat, go, take, have, and so on. These are actions that we do every day. They repeat. So we don't say, "I am waking up at 7." We say, "I wake up at 7." This is a small difference, but very important. And don't worry, we'll practice that together with examples. Let's start with some of the most common actions in the morning. You can listen to me and repeat if you want to. I wake up at 6:30. Then I get out of bed. After that, I brush my teeth. I take a shower. I get dressed. I make a cup of tea. I have breakfast. I check my phone. I leave the house at 8 o'clock. These are simple sentences, but they are powerful. When you put them together, they become a full routine. You are telling your story. You are giving someone a clear picture of how you start your day. That's the goal. Not to say big, difficult words, but to say clear, useful English that people understand. Let's look at the structure of your morning routine. We usually talk about it in order, step by step. That's why connectors are so helpful. Connectors are small words that help organize your thoughts. Here are the most useful ones for your routine. First, I wake up at 6:30. Then I brush my teeth. After that, I take a shower. Next, I get dressed. Finally, I leave for work. You can also use time expressions like at 6 a.m., at 7:15 in the morning before breakfast, after my shower, and so on. Here's a full example of a morning routine using these words. First, I wake up at 6 a.m., then I get out of bed and brush my teeth. After that, I take a quick shower and get dressed. At 6:45, I make a cup of tea and eat a small breakfast. I usually check my phone or read the news for 10 minutes. Finally, I leave the house at 7:30 to go to work. Can you see how clear that sounds? No difficult words, no difficult grammar, but everything is in the right order, and that makes it easy to follow. You can make your own version of this very easily. Now, let's talk about personalizing your morning routine. This means adding details that are true for you, your feelings, your habits, your preferences. For example, you can say, "I feel very tired in the morning. I'm not a morning person. I love waking up early. The house is quiet. I always drink coffee. I can't live without it. I listen to music while I shower. Sometimes I skip breakfast if I'm in a hurry." These small details make your English sound more natural, and they also make your routine sound more interesting. It's not just, "I wake up, I eat, I go." It becomes a real picture of your life. That's how we build fluency, not by memorizing, but by connecting language to your real experience. You can also add information about how often you do things. This helps you use adverbs of frequency like always. I always wake up at 6. I usually eat cereal. Sometimes I read a book in the morning. Rarely. I rarely skip breakfast. Never. I never drink coffee. These words help you explain your habits more clearly. They also help your English sound more complete and confident. Try saying a few of these out loud with your own morning habits. For example, I usually take a shower in the morning, but sometimes I wait until the evening. I always eat eggs for breakfast. It's my favorite. I never check my phone before I get out of bed. See how easy that is? And it's all true to your life. That's what makes it so effective. Here's a quick tip. Practice your morning routine in front of a mirror. Say it like you are talking to a friend. You don't need to be fast. You don't need to be perfect. Just speak clearly. Repeat it a few times. Every time you do it, your words will feel easier. Your brain starts to remember the sentences, and soon you don't have to think about it. You just speak. So now you know how to talk about your morning. You know the common actions, how to use present simple tense, time expressions, and connectors. You also know how to add your own details, your feelings, your habits, your likes and dislikes. This is real English. This is your voice. Chapter 3. How to describe your afternoon and evening and make your English sound natural. After the morning comes the next big part of the day, the afternoon and evening. For many people, this part of the day is very busy or sometimes very different from one day to the next. You might go to work or to school, or maybe you stay at home. You might rest, cook, exercise, go shopping, or take care of your family. This is why, for many learners, talking about the afternoon and evening is a little harder. The routine is not always the same every day. But don't worry. In this chapter, I will help you describe your afternoons and evenings clearly and naturally, just like we did with the morning. You will learn new phrases, simple sentence patterns, and a few ways to make your English sound more personal and more fluent. Let's begin with the work or study part of your day. Many people spend the afternoon at work or in school, so this is a good place to start. You can use present simple tense here again, just like in the morning. For example, I go to work at 9 a.m. I have lunch at 1 p.m. I finish work at 5. I go to school in the afternoon. I take a class every Tuesday. These sentences are short, but they tell us important information. Where you go, what time, and what you do. You can add more detail with simple time expressions or actions. I usually take a break at 3 o'clock. After work, I take the bus home. Sometimes I go to the supermarket after class. And just like in the morning routine, you can use connectors like after that, then, and next to show the order of your actions. I finish work at 5. After that, I go for a walk. Then I take a shower and cook dinner. Now let's talk about the evening. Evening is often the time when we relax, spend time with family, or do something we enjoy. Here are some common actions you can use to talk about your evening. I cook dinner at 6 p.m. I eat with my family. I do the dishes. I watch TV. I read a book. I check my emails. I play with my kids. I call my friends. I go for a run. I take a shower before bed. I go to bed at 10 p.m. You don't have to use all of these, just the ones that are true for you. This is your routine, your life, so your sentences should show your real habits. Now, let's make your sentences a little more interesting and more natural. One easy way to do this is by adding how and why. These small questions can help you expand your routine and explain your actions. For example, I cook dinner at 6 because I get hungry early. I take the bus home because I don't drive. I relax by watching TV. I stay at home in the evening because I'm tired after work. I go to the gym to stay healthy. When you add how and why, your English becomes more complete. It shows more information. It also sounds more fluent because you're not just listing actions, you're explaining them. Let's try a full example of an afternoon and evening routine using everything we've learned. I finish work at 5 p.m. After that, I usually take a short walk to relax. Then I take the bus home. I get home around 6. I cook dinner because I like to eat fresh food. I eat with my family and we talk about our day. After dinner, I do the dishes and clean the kitchen. Sometimes I watch TV for an hour or I read a book. I take a shower around 9 and I go to bed at 10 because I have to wake up early the next day. Now that's a great routine. It's clear, it has order, and it has personal detail. This is the kind of paragraph you can use in conversation, in speaking tests, or in writing practice. And just like in the morning routine, you can also use frequency adverbs to talk about how often you do things. These words help explain your habits. I always cook dinner at home. I usually go to the gym on Mondays. I sometimes eat outside. I rarely stay up late. I never miss my favorite TV show. You can also use time expressions like every day, once a week, in the evening, before dinner, after work. These small words and phrases are powerful. They give your English rhythm and make your sentences easier to follow. Here's a small exercise you can try right now. Write 3 sentences about what you do after work or school. Start with, I finish, and describe what happens next. Try to use one time word, one connector, and one reason. For example, I finish school at 4. After that, I walk to the cafe near my house because I like the coffee there. This is real, personal English. It's easy, and it's effective. Finally, remember that routines don't have to be the same every day. That's okay. You can say things like, on weekdays, I stay at home in the evening, but on weekends, I go out with friends. This shows that your routine can change, and you can still describe it using simple English. So now you've learned how to talk about your afternoon and evening, from work and study to relaxing and getting ready for bed. You've learned new vocabulary, time expressions, connectors, and how to make your English sound more interesting with reasons and personal habits. Chapter 4. Talking about your weekends and free time, adding variety and real fluency. Now we come to one of the best parts of the week, the weekend. For many people, weekends are special. They are different from weekdays. You might sleep longer, go out, meet friends, relax at home, or do something fun. And that's why talking about your weekends and free time is so useful in English. It's not just about describing what you do, it's about showing who you are. When we talk about our free time, we are talking about what we enjoy. This helps you sound more natural and more confident in English. In this chapter, we will bring everything together, your vocabulary, grammar, and sentence building, and show you how to describe your weekends in a more personal and fluent way. Let's begin with a simple question. What do you usually do on the weekend? This is a very common question in conversation. People ask it when they want to get to know you. Maybe you've heard it in class or in a job interview, or even when meeting someone new. If you can answer this clearly and naturally, you are showing strong communication skills. Here are some very common ways to begin your weekend routine in English. On Saturdays, every Sunday, sometimes on the weekend, I like to, I don't do much. I just relax. Now let's add actions. What do people do on weekends? Here are some common examples you can use and adapt. I sleep in. This means you wake up late. I go shopping with my family. I clean the house. I meet my friends for lunch. I go for a walk in the park. I cook something special. I visit my parents. I play video games. I do nothing. I just rest. I catch up on my reading. I go out for dinner. I do homework or study. Notice how different these sentences are from the weekday routines. During the week, we often talk about things we have to do. Wake up early, go to work, do chores. But on the weekend, we talk about things we want to do. This is the perfect time to use expressions of preference, like and love. For example, I love staying in bed late on Sundays. I really enjoy going to the cinema. I don't like doing housework, but I do it on weekends. I like cooking when I have more time. I prefer quiet weekends, just reading and drinking tea. These kinds of sentences help your English sound more real, more emotional, and more personal. You are not just giving a list of actions, you are sharing your feelings. That's a big step toward fluency. Now let's talk about grammar for a moment. When we describe the weekend, we usually use the present simple tense for routines. On Saturdays, I go to the market. I usually sleep until 9 a.m., but we can also use the past tense to talk about what we did last weekend. This helps us connect English to real experiences. Here are some examples. Last Saturday, I visited my aunt. I watched a great movie on Sunday. I stayed at home all weekend and cleaned my room. 2 weeks ago, I went to the mountains with friends. Don't be afraid to use the past tense. Even if you make small mistakes, it's more important to try. The more you use it, the better you will get. And we can also use the future tense when we talk about plans for next weekend. For example, next Saturday, I'm going to visit my cousin. This weekend, I'm planning to go hiking. I think I'll stay home and relax. I'm going to try a new recipe. These future expressions, like I'm going to and I'll, help you sound more confident when talking about your plans. You can also use time words like maybe, probably, and I hope to add more personality. Maybe I'll go to the beach if the weather is good. I hope to finish my book this weekend. I'll probably watch a movie on Sunday night. Now let's try a full example of a weekend routine that includes all the pieces: present habits, preferences, past, and future. On Saturdays, I usually sleep in and have a big breakfast. Sometimes I clean the house or go shopping. In the afternoon, I like to meet my friends at a cafe. Last weekend, we went to the park and had a picnic. On Sundays, I usually stay at home. I cook something nice, read a book, or watch a film. This weekend, I'm going to visit my brother. I haven't seen him in a while, so I'm really looking forward to it. Can you hear the difference? This doesn't sound like a textbook sentence. It sounds like a real person talking about their real life. And that's the goal. Not perfect English, but natural, personal, and confident English. Here are some tips to make your own weekend routine sound more fluent. Use I like, love, enjoy to talk about things that make you happy. Use last weekend and next weekend to show you can use different tenses. Add small reasons or feelings. I stay home because I'm tired. Or I enjoy movies because they help me relax. Try using variety. Say what you usually do, what you sometimes do, and what you rarely do. Practice saying it aloud. Say it slowly. Make it part of your English. Now you know how to describe your weekend and your free time, not just as a boring list of things, but as something you enjoy and want to share. This is where fluency begins to grow. It's not just, I wake up, I go to work. It becomes, I relax by listening to music, or last weekend, I spent time with my best friend. It becomes your real voice in English. Call to action. After Chapter 4. Now you can talk about your daily routine, not just with 1 or 2 words, but in full, natural sentences. You've learned how to describe your morning step by step, how to talk about your work or study in the afternoon, how to explain what you do in the evening, and even how to describe your weekends and free time in a way that feels real and personal. That's a big achievement, and you did it all using clear, simple English. These are the building blocks of fluency. So if this lesson helped you, please give it a like. It really supports the channel and helps more learners find this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because I post easy and practical English lessons every week to help you grow, little by little, day by day. And now I'd love to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what's your favorite part of your daily routine? Do you enjoy quiet mornings? Do you love your weekend walks? Or maybe your favorite moment is drinking tea before bed? Write it in the comments. I read every single one, and I really want to know how your day looks. Thanks again for watching. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.